Welcome back, Sam. We have discussed a few videos here with basic estate planning and how to start on your taxes and estate planning. And now I think we need to know what is planned giving.
There can be a lot of different forms of planned giving, but to try and break it down into its simplest version, it's, I hate to reuse the same words, but it's making a plan for a gift. It's not just, oh, look, I have this left over, let me just give this to someone. It's, okay, how do I want to be strategic about this? And how can I take what I have and what I'm working to build and use that in a way that's going to be part of a legacy, in a way that's going to accomplish a bigger cause and do something over a period of time. So rather than just a plain flat out gift or request is great, but planned giving, we're putting a lot more thought into it and say, okay, how do we make this work and do good over a period of time? And in a way where an organization can use that and rely on it and implement that into their planning for the future and what it's going to look like for the work that they're doing.
Sam, what are the benefits of making a planned gift?
So a lot of times when we're talking about planned gifts, it's involving a nonprofit organization of some sort. So there's two sides to it, where on one hand, part of our gift planning is making sure that the donor is receiving tax benefits and doing things on their end that make sense, that help with any sort of tax exposure, things like that, potentially unrealized capital gains, whatever it might be, any sort of tax liability. And then on the flip side, we have usually a nonprofit involved. And alerting may not be the right word, but letting them know and bringing them in on the process so the nonprofit can say, okay, well, how are we going to receive this and use it in the best possible way to accomplish what the donor wants to see happen.
Because they could put restricted or unrestricted clauses to this, right?
Exactly. So it can be a general gift. It can be, okay, I want to use this, I want the organization to use these funds for a very specific purpose. And how do we make sure we're all working together on the same page to make that happen?
Sam, can anyone make this gift?
Yeah, absolutely. So I talked about, a lot of people have retirement accounts, things like that, where, we're talking about big high-level tax things, and okay, this gift can do more good for a charitable organization than it can do for an individual based on taxes. But it doesn't have to be a huge gift and huge tax consequences and things like that. It could be someone's giving $5 a month. That's a planned gift. Or someone says, I may not have much left, but I want 10% or 20% or whatever it might be, $5,000 to go to this organization. So it's not something that's restricted to these fancy estates. Everyone has an estate. Everyone can give and be part of contributing to an organization or a cause bigger than themselves, even if we're not talking about huge sums of money.
And on the flip side, they could change their mind. They could say, hey, I wanted to do this when I pass, and now I changed my mind. I want to do it while I'm here. How does that work?
Yeah, so a plan is just that. It's a plan, and the plan can change. So, a lot of times, it depends on the avenue we choose, but many times a trust, an estate plan is revocable. It can be changed at any time, and we may decide, okay, it's for a variety of reasons, it's more advantageous to start making this gift happen now versus then when someone passes away. Sometimes we use that if we are dealing with a very high net worth individual. We use that to start reducing an estate tax exposure. So we want to be giving during someone's lifetime to the greatest extent possible, so that doesn't end up as just a big tax bill when it could have been going to further a cause that the person is passionate about.
What about the tax bill under that scenario? Where would that fall?
Yeah, so we've talked in the past a little bit about estate taxes, and once an estate, the gross value exceeds the federal estate tax exemption, anything over that is subject to taxes. So a lot of times it's a great problem to have, but we want to make sure that we stay under an exemption limit. So to do that, we want to be gifting property during a lifetime, and there's limits to how much you can gift an individual versus gifting to a charitable organization. That's oftentimes a great way to reduce future estate tax exposure.
What type of gifts are you seeing that are common right now?
Yeah, so a lot of times we'll see people who want to take care of their families, but they don't just want to, everything just goes to my kids. They want to include some amount that's charitable. So we might see a percentage of an estate that's gifted to a charitable organization, or we might say, okay, my family can take these assets. These assets have a lot of tax exposure. There'd be a lot of tax loss to an individual beneficiary. So, okay, maybe I'll put aside this retirement account and I want this organization to be the beneficiary of the account. Or maybe they, through a trust, receive this piece of real property. So we see a lot of things like that, but it can be anything. Anything from, okay, when I pass away, I want X amount of money or X percent, I want that to go to my charitable organization, and the rest is for my family or my loved ones, whatever it might be.
Yeah, we're seeing here at the Boys and Girls Clubs, we've seen the donor say, I want it to go to my university, I want it to go to my local club that I belong to, as well as they donated to the Boys and Girls Clubs of East County Foundation, but they broke it up by their terms and to what those amounts were also.
Yeah.
Sam, we've been recipients of some enormous life-changing gifts at the clubs. An example was we built our La Mesa Clubhouse in 2018, and the estate of the Gagons, they donated well over $3 million to help build that clubhouse. So that was from the foundational pieces to the wall to opening up the doors, which then had an amount left over for an endowment. So that endowment perpetuates that clubhouse, keep the doors open, and kids have low cost to them and their families. We've also received gifts where naming rights here in a clubhouse. The gymnasium is named after the Hollingsworth family. And so that's another way that they've invested not only in the build, but in the content of the club and the kids. And so it's enormous. It's life-changing for us, as well as it's a supportive piece that we rely on to keep quality programs here at the clubhouse. We also have restricted gifts, and the donors to that said, hey, we understand you need quality staff, and in order to have quality staff, you need to train them. And by providing that training, we get staff members that are attractive to what the Boys and Girls Club is all about, as well as provide premier services to the club and the kids.
Yeah, and Forrest, I took a look at, I know you all have the estate planning quiz brochure, and I think that's a great resource as well to help people just keep a track of what their estate plan looks like. Estate plan is not necessarily like a binder of documents. There's all sorts of components. So making sure that whether it's during life plan giving or future bequests and will and trust, making sure that everything is in line for the person's goals. It's one thing to have a goal, but we need to have a plan behind it. So this is a great resource, I think, to help people just make sure they're on track to building that legacy that they want to see.
Very good. And if you'd like some more information in regards to this, please contact us at bgcec.planned.gifts. And Sam, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Easiest way to get in touch with us is through our website, McGovernLawGroup.com. All sorts of ways. If you want to call, set up a phone consultation, whatever it is, you can get started there on our website.
Thank you very much for joining us in Sam's Corner.